Hello, I'm Annie Sloan. Very nice to see you here. I'm in my kitchen in Oxford in England. I'm here with my son who's doing the filming for me. And yes, I'm in my kitchen with surrounded all my ferns and skylight above. So it's very nice and sunny and lots of light. So I was in LA recently and I was meant to do a workshop for you, but I couldn't because of the COVID virus. We had to leave and didn't get a chance. So in fact, I think this is a really nice way to be doing it. I'm going to show you how to do something which would be really great fun during the lockdown. So what I've got here is a rug. Before I start on the rug, I just should tell you a little bit about me, just in case. I'm sure some of you know about me, but I'm sure some of you don't know anything about me. So my name is Annie Sloan. I am the creator of chalk paint, Annie Sloan paint, and I invented this 30 years ago, and this is our big year of celebrations. I will tell you a little bit more about what I've done to celebrate later on. So yes, the paint originally was meant just to go onto furniture. It goes onto metal, it goes onto marble, plastics, wood, varnished wood, everything. There's no need to prime, there's no need to sand, you can just get straight on with it. That was the whole idea. So it's a very creative, very fresh, very easy way to change things. And it can be flat, it could be layered, it could be very, very smooth, it can be washes, all sorts of things. And one of the things it does is that you can paint onto fabric. Lots of ways to paint on fabric, but I recently got hold of these, which are some great rugs. The ones you've got are from IKEA, and they're really easy to change and do something really lovely with. So this is what I've done on this one, and using, I think it's just 4 colours, and mixing a little bit, and I did one on the other side. Wouldn't necessarily do that, I suppose, but there's another one that I've done. One's horizontal and this one is perpendicular, so you can see different ways. You could make this into a rug, or you could have it as a hanger. I think you've got some hangers that we've given you, all again from IKEA, and you can have that hanging like that and hang it on your wall. So a couple of ideas. So here's one that I'm doing here. Just put this one away. So here's one here that's not been painted at all. Now you'll notice those designs that I did on there are quite similar to this. This is called The Colorist. We do 2 a year. They're bookazines. They have got no adverts in them, so it's like a book. But lots and lots of articles in it, so it's like a magazine. They are a colour library, so this one is all about white. This is the one before that was blue, before that was yellow, before that was pink. So always a different colour and sets of colours, so there's other colours that will work with it. So this one we've done a white, a green and a blue. As well as the white, of course. So if you see the cover, this is a cabinet that I painted, and I thought it might be a nice idea, because I think you've got one, to use this as an inspiration to paint this. I can't give you exactly those colours. You've got 4, I think you've chosen. I'm choosing for this one my Oxford Navy, my Chicago Grey, my Antoinette, and my Furl. I haven't got a little one of Furl. So normally our paints come in litres, or you can have little sample pots. For this, sample pots are really good. I didn't have one of these. I'm in lockdown. So there's the colours. I'm going to put them here. You'll also have a mix mat. That's this here. The mix mat is an amazing thing because you can mix paint onto it, and then afterwards you either let it dry and flake it off, or you just wash it, and it just means that you don't have to be mixing on plates or paper or anything like that. So I'm going to put that up there so it's a reminder of what I'm doing. To make the shapes, actually, I need to go and get from here some of the things that I need to use. So I'm not just going to paint freehand, because I think that's quite an ordeal for people to do. What I'm going to be using is masking tape, and luckily, as I'm in my kitchen, a saucepan lid, a casserole lid, and from a baking thing, cake thing. So I've got various shapes that I could use. So let's start. Now, if you look at there are some lines which are quite solid. Might be an idea to come into that one, Hugo. So some of those lines are solid and some of them are thin. And that's a matter of how much water you add to it. So I'm going to start, somehow this shape seems a nice one to do. So I'm going to start with that. I'm going to put these out of the way. I'll put them over here. Those are some other colours which I'll talk about later. Now, so I'm going to do something on there. This will be sort of upside down for you. Hope that's all right. So I've got here these colours. I've got a deep one, a light one, which is a colour, a grey, which is a neutral, and these sort of feel like a dark and a light neutral, even though that is a colour. And there's another, and this was a bright one. So you would probably use less of the brighter one, not necessarily, but if you're looking for ways to work this, this is the best way to do it. So I'll get my coffee out of the way. I'm going to be using detail brushes. These are my detail brushes here, and I've got them here, and oh, they're in here, and I've got myself some water to lighten things as well. So I'll put that down. So I'm going to start with this bright one, and I'm going to mix some onto here. Can you see that, Hugo, if I add water to that area there? Can you see that? Good. So I put some water onto here. You can see the way it doesn't like it. It sort of refracts away, but that's quite good. Rejects it. So that means that that's why you can get it out easily. Get it off, rather. So I've already got water in here as well, so making a nice area, nice watery colour. So I'm going to have something there. So the way to do a shape like that, a sort of leaf shape, is to do a line down the centre. Have we got this close in? That's lovely. So I'm going to do a line like that, and then do like a D shape, and then reverse that. So I'll just, that's a bit of a lump at the top, so I made that one, and then fill it in. If you think of letters and shapes, if you think of letters and numbers, it's quite good if you're wondering, if you're not very confident about drawing. That's a good way to do it. So I've chosen to do this in the top right hand, partly because it sort of works there because the eye needs to go to the top. I think I might make that a little bit taller, a bit more elegant. So now that's quite wet. It'll take a little bit of time to dry. So I'll put that there. Now, I like this shape here, these done there. So they're quite nice to do. And I think what I'll do is I'm going to do the blue at the bottom. Again, I'm going to put a lot of water into that. I don't need very much paint, actually. Lots of water. So right down there, lots of water. When you do this, might be an idea to start some drawing first. I've done it quite a few times now, and I was the originator of the drawing, so I'm used to the idea of it, so it might be an idea for you to do a drawing. It's a little sketch, just a doodle, to get you going. So at the moment everything is thin. When it dries, it should be fairly pliable. The thicker you do it, the less, I've done a dribble. I quite like things like that because it sort of shows that a person's done it and not an automaton. I think nowadays we're very used to lots of things being done by computers. Now I've got very blue water. I think normally I'd go and wash my brush. So I'm going to do a pink one now. Adding the blue water is giving this a slight grey tone, which is an interesting thing because these colours will mix. My colours are mixed in a completely different way to other paint manufacturers. My background is fine art, and when you're trained to do paintings, you don't tend to use black as a colour. What you use is complementaries and other colours to deaden the colour. So, or lighten it or mix it. You would never use black, or very rarely anyway. I don't say it's not allowed, but it's not usual. So my colours will work very well. So if you mix two colours together, there's no black in there, there's no black in there. So when you mix those two together, you don't get a greyed colour, but you get a nice interesting colour. So I've mixed those two there. And I could do a grey. Now, having said that, I could mix. So these are the 4 colours we're using. If I mix grey and this is Antoinette, with the Chicago grey, you get this sort of colour. Or interestingly, when you mix this Antoinette with Furl, the brighter green, you get this rather sort of lovely melon colour. So I rather like that. I think that should be there. Again, it works because the colours have no black in them, and you get this very pretty colour there. Need more green. It's a great colour. It's a sort of, yeah, I don't know quite what it is, melon, pale melon, cantaloupe melon. So now they're going to stay there. I'm going to wait for those to dry a little, and while they dry, I'm going to go over to the other side, use some masking tape, and this will be a bit quicker. I'm going to do masking tape there, like that, and I'll do a masking tape there. So I think it's quite good to have a dark colour down the side because that seems to sort of separate it all, give it a sort of side like a frame. So I'm just going to go onto there. Now just make certain that actually you've flattened there because you don't want to get any paint underneath. If this can be a little bit drier down the side, maybe the better. You can have more water as you go away from the side of the masking tape. Because this is textured, you'll find that it doesn't like going completely flat. You have to brush a little bit hard. So that's done. Oops. I'll take that off. I'll take it off. Oops, didn't come right off. I'm going to take it off all of it off quite quickly so that it doesn't stick too much and it doesn't start going underneath either. Put that there. And now I'm going to use that as an edge, and I'm going to do a darker line for the furl. Let's see. So again, quite dry along here. I'm using one of my detail brushes. They're flat. I've got two flat ones, a big one and a large one, and two pointy ones. A pointy one which is small, and a pointy one which is large. These work best on this because this is quite textured. And now I'm going to take that and use that blue water to blur it so it's a bit like watercolour. So you don't have to do this. This is a sort of idea for what you can do using your colours that you choose. So that's quite nice, the way that does there. I don't mind the little bit of white showing. I could fill it in, but I might leave it just for now. Lids. So these are good. This is an oval one. So I could do something like that, or if I want something a bit bigger, I could use that. I'm looking on here. What I did before was quite nice. I liked that, so I might do that there. And I think I might do a line down here as well. So look at the other colours that I've used before. I've mixed to make an olive colour, the furl again, but with the Oxford navy, and that makes this rather lovely olive. Slightly shows there, but if I do it on there, that won't show up. So I've got to do another colour there. Maybe that'll be the grey. Or you can also mix the Oxford navy with Chicago grey, and that makes a rather lovely pale blue. So that's going to be useful. So at the moment, I've got quite a lot of quite strong colour. Maybe the grey needs to come in here. So what I'm going to do is put that there. Better there. Okay, I'm going to use that one. I'm not going to put it as a circle, but just at the edge. And then I'm going to mix, I'm going to mix my grey and blue. So Chicago grey, which is already a bluish colour. I'm going to mix it in with some Oxford navy, and that makes a really nice grey. Get rid of most of it, and now you can either touch the edge of there or just use that to guide you. So just keeping on going. You need to charge your brush so that it has quite a lot of paint on it. I like the idea of charging your brush. It's a good word. So maybe I should do another one there, and maybe that, yes, that one coming from there. So this is slightly wet. Oops, it should be okay. As long as you don't keep brushing, and it doesn't matter anyway, if colours blur into each other, it can be really nice. And if you don't like a colour, you can always go over it. how we're doing, not too badly. So this now is a bit drier. It's not completely dry, but it should be okay. And I'm going to take this brush here, which is a pointy one, and I'm going to use the blue, the navy, and I think I'll mix just a little bit of the green into it, the furl. That's going to make it a really lovely olivey colour. And then a bit of water, and then I'm going to do sort of like a stem, as it were, and maybe even right up through the centre. That's a nice combination of colours. All the colours work very well together because many of them have got similar pigments in them. So I haven't taken millions of pigments, but I've chosen simple pigments, well, not simple, but a limited number. And that's why everything tends to work together. So let's do some other things. This masking tape we've already used to do the lines, but I could do something like this. Take that same colour and draw inside. No, it doesn't like it when it's trying to paint like that. You need the flatter brush. I'm very naughty mixing colours and putting my other paintbrush in there. How are we doing for time, Hugo?
We're 22 minutes.
So not long. So, got that. What else did I want to show you? I know, another thing from over here. This is a roller, and I'm going to make a mixture of colours. I'm going to mix that lovely mixture of pink Antoinette. I'll just use Antoinette actually, I think that's nice. And then I'm going to dab it into there. Dab the end of a roller. So this is a sponge roller, it's one of ours. And I'm going to put it, where are we going to put it? Maybe, I think there's going to be lots of dots around. I'll do a dot there. And maybe I can now mix that with, and make a purpley colour. Those two together and mix and make a purple. Not really a purple, but it's sort of. And to do another one there. What other thing did I want to show you with? Again, things like that, which would make an oval shape, which is quite nice. It's the same sort of thing. Actually, every now and again, you've got to stand away and have a look. How is that going? I think it needs a lot more work on it. I find it quite difficult to paint and talk at the same time. So the design of this one is not quite as good as the other ones, I think. But I could build on it. I'm sure it would work in the end. So do a little drawing first of all, have some ideas. Then when you finish, you've got to decide whether you're going to have it as a rug or whether you're going to have it as a hanging. If you want it as a rug, what I would do is very, very softly wash it. So don't put it in the machine. I would just do it in by hand. Just very gently wipe it, rub it, not really rub it, just sort of wipe it. So that anything where it's really heavy, this will be fine because I did a lot of water. This will be harder because I didn't put so much water there. So just take some of the paint off. It doesn't really matter. Sometimes rugs just need to look beautiful. But if you did want it to be soft, just very gently wash it. Actually, before you wash it, what you need to do is you need to iron it. So you iron it on a fairly hot iron. You'd probably iron it on the other side, on that side there, and so that no paint would come on or off onto your iron. And that should set it. You don't need to put anything else into the water. Some people think, oh, should you put salt? That won't help at all. I've tried all that. But what does help is the iron. So iron it. And then you could gently wash it, and you can have it as a rug, or you just have it as a hanging. I said I was going to show you a little bit about what we're doing for our 30th anniversary. And you may know that 30 for weddings and what have you, marriages, you celebrate with pearl by giving people pearl. So this is what we've brought out for the 30th anniversary here. It's called Pearlescent Glaze. It's absolutely amazing. I'll open it up. It looks white, but you can see just on the lid there, it's beautifully, beautifully sheeny. Perfect for a mermaid. It's very glamorous and looks fantastic on all sorts of bits of furniture. I haven't really got the right things here to show you. I think it's probably a best thing is to talk to or look on our website or look on our Instagrams and Facebook pages, because there's lots of things coming on there because we've just brought it out. It's just come out. Everything's available. Anything you want to know about anything, how to paint or whatever, any of this can be done, can be asked to us. You have an email, I know, to Julia, and she will help you. I think that's it. Anything you want to know, yeah. So yeah, that's it. So thank you very much for watching.